July 4th, 1803. News of the Louisiana Purchase is announced in the United States. Thomas Jefferson is president at the time and knows that the land just purchased from Napoleon needs to be explored and surveyed before settled. Jefferson requested his secretary Meriwether Lewis to lead the expedition starting in St. Louis, Missouri, to find a water route leading to the Pacific coast. The expedition seemed almost impossible mission because they had no clue what to expect. Lewis knew that a journey this long needed not only one commander, but two. Lewis chose an old army comrade, William Clark, to help him lead the expedition.
Now, men, I want you to go out and find the Northwest Passage. Write in your journals every day. Record everything you see. And if you can, send me specimens. I am looking forward to seeing what you will discover.
On May 21st, 1804, the Corps of Discovery set out on the Missouri River in a 55-foot keelboat with 33 men and 3,500 pounds of supplies. One of the members of the Corps of Discovery was Lewis's Newfoundland dog named Seaman. He was an important member of the crew because he acted as a hunter and a lookout. They discovered many different species of plants and animal life. Captain Clark, look over there! It's a bird! What? Oh, let me see. Along with finding the Northwest Passage, the crew was required to write their observations of plants, animals, weather, geography, and Native American culture in the journals. Lewis recorded 260 plants in his journals, including Indian, tobacco, prickly pear, and purple coneflower. The Corps of Discovery made their way up the Missouri River in their keelboat towards the Mandan Indian village in what is now North Dakota. They built Fort Mandan across the river from the tribe, and the Indians would often cross the river to bring food and would stay for parties in the fort. Survival of the crew depended on their success hunting for food. They ate meat from deer, elk, antelope, squirrel, beaver, and even dog, or whatever meat they could find. The plains was a region where they had no trouble finding food since thousands of buffalo roamed this area. The buffalo killed by the crew was not only used for food but also for fur. Among the many items distributed to the Indian tribes were American flags and Jefferson Peace medals. These medals and flags were not only gifts but symbols of the future American takeover of the territory. The pipe ceremony was an important ritual for Native Americans. It symbolized the importance of kinship in their tribal society. When Lewis and Clark shared the pipe with the tribe, the ceremony was like joining the family. It meant they had become obligated to share their wealth, assist them in war, or take revenge on enemies of the tribe. The pipe was presented to them as a memento so they would never forget their kinship and obligation to the tribe. Behind every great man is a great woman. The great woman in the Lewis and Clark expedition was Sacagawea. The crew met her in the Mandan village. She was a 17-year-old Shoshone woman and was expecting a child with her husband, Toussaint Charbonneau, a French fur trader. The two agreed to be interpreters and joined the Corps of Discovery for the rest of the journey.
Wah! Wah!
On February 11, 1805, Sacagawea gave birth to a baby boy, Jean-Baptiste Charbonneau, nicknamed Pomp by the crew. In the spring of 1805, the crew left Fort Mandan. They sent the keelboat back down the river with some of the crew, specimens, and an update on their condition. The rest of the Corps of Discovery went up the river in several dugout canoes. When Lewis and Clark reached the Great Falls of Montana, they discovered not one, but 5 large waterfalls in their path. They could no longer travel by boat, so the crew constructed crude trailers to help transport their 1,000-pound dugout canoes and other supplies around the falls. They thought it would only take a couple days, but it actually took them about a month to travel, 18 miles on foot. It was very difficult to push the canoes up steep inclines and over ground covered with prickly pear cactus and in territory populated by grizzly bears. Push! Push! One of the many difficulties of the portage were prickly pears. They would often penetrate the moccasins of the crew members. The sharp thorns were incredibly painful for them. Ow. Ouch. Ow. 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 Oh, that feels better. bears, particularly the grizzly, were a huge threat to the crew. They quite often were chased, and crew members often shot and killed the bears to protect themselves. After the portage, the crew made their way back on the river. Sacagawea said that they were now entering familiar territory. Hope rose in the crew because they knew that the only way to make it over the Rockies before winter meant that they needed Shoshone horses as soon as possible. When the Corps of Discovery reached the Shoshone village, Sacagawea realized the chief of the Shoshones was her brother, Kamiawa. The two had an emotional reunion. This fortunate coincidence made it much easier for Lewis and Clark to negotiate for horses. Kamiawa agreed to let the crew borrow 29 horses, 1 mule, and a Shoshone guide by the name of Old Toby to lead them through the mountains. After Lewis and Clark acquired the horses, they ascended into the Bitterroot Mountains. Old Toby lost the trail, and they emerged from the mountains 11 days later on the brink of starvation. After the Corps of Discovery overcame their starvation, they departed onto the Clearwater River, which led into the Columbia River. The Columbia led them straight to the ocean. On November 7th, Clark wrote his most famous journal entry. "Great joy in camp. We are in view of the ocean, this great Pacific Ocean which we have so long anxious to see. And the roaring of noise made by the waves breaking on the rocky shores, as I suppose, may be heard distinctly.